General instructions. I. The question paper has 30 questions in all. All questions are compulsory. Marks for each question are indicated against the question. Questions from serial number 1 to 9 are multiple choice questions. Each question carries 1 mark. Questions from serial number 10 to 21 are 3 marks questions. Answers of these questions should not exceed 80 words each. Questions from serial number 22 to 29 are 5 marks questions. Answers of these questions should not exceed 120 words each. Question number 30 is a map question of 5 marks, 2 marks from history and 3 marks from geography. Attach the filled up map inside your answer book. Questions. Q1. Which among the following was the main reason for the weavers to revolt against contractors in Silesia, in 1845? A. Contractors reduced their payments drastically. B. They stopped the supply of raw materials to them. C. They refused to place orders for finished textiles. D. Condition of weavers was very pitiable. Or. Which among the following was the main reason to start the Tonkin Free School in Vietnam? A. To provide Western-style education. B. To provide modern education. C. To provide science education. D. To popularize the French language. Solution. A. Contractors reduced their payments drastically. Or A. To provide Western-style education. Q2. In which one of the following places Mahatma Gandhi organized Satyagraha for the first time in India? A. Dandi. B. Ahmedabad. C. Kheda. D. Champaran. Solution. D. Champaran. Q3. Which one of the following has been the major source of foreign exchange for IT industry? A. Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. B. Oil India Limited. C. Steel Authority of India Limited. D. Business Process Outsourcing. Solution. D. Business Process Outsourcing. Q4. Which one of the following statements is correct regarding sectional interest groups? A. They promote collective rather than selective good. B. Their principal concern is betterment and well-being of their members, not society in general. C. They aim to help groups other than their own members. D. They do not seek to promote the interest of a particular section or group of society. Solution. B. Their principal concern is betterment and well-being of their members, not society in general. Q5. Which one of the following facilities is offered by the Election Commission to a recognized political party? A. Party name. B. Election funds. C. Election symbol. D. Manifesto. Solution. C. Election symbol. Q6. Which one of the following is an example of outcomes of a democracy that produces an accountable government? A. Open to public debates on major policies and legislation. B. Open in promoting economic development. C. Open in reducing economic inequalities. D. Open to rulers elected by the people. Solution. D. Open to rulers elected by the people. Q7. Which one of the following is a formal source of credit? A. Traders. B. Cooperative societies. C. Moneylenders. D. Friends and relatives. Solution. B. Cooperative societies. Q8. Which one of the following is the appropriate meaning of collateral? A. It is the sum total of money borrowed from banks. B. The amount borrowed from friends. C. It is an asset of the borrower used as guarantee to a lender. D. The amount invested in a business. Solution. C. It is an asset of the borrower used as a guarantee to a lender. Q9. Which one of the following organizations lays stress on liberalization of foreign trade and foreign investment? A. International Monetary Fund. B. International Labour Organization. C. World Health Organization. D. World Trade Organization. Solution. D. World Trade Organization. Q10. How did the local people in the areas conquered by the Napoleon react to French rule? Explain. Or. Why did a major protest erupt in 1926 in the Saigon Native Girls' School in Vietnam? Explain. Solution. The French under Napoleon conquered territories of Switzerland, Dutch Republic, Italy, and Germany. In these areas, the Napoleonic Code was incorporated whereby certain reforms were undertaken. Earlier, the people were happy with the introduction of reforms like equality before the law and abolition of the feudal system. However, this enthusiasm later turned into hostility as it became clear that the new administrative system did not go hand in hand with political freedom. Certain reforms like introduction of transport and communication led to increased taxation. Also, censorship and forced recruitment into the army was being practiced. Thus, these reforms got mixed reactions from the people living in those areas. OR. In the early 20th century, the French had control over Vietnam. They thought that it was their responsibility to civilize the Vietnamese by educating them. However, the Vietnamese were not educated much. In fact, many were failed in their final years of education due to the fear that they might either question French dominion or get a better job than the French colons. During this phase in 1926, a protest also came into being in the Saigon Native Girls' School. This protest erupted due to the discrimination of a Vietnamese girl in comparison to a French student. The girl was asked to move to the back row and make space for a French student in the front row. On refusal, she was expelled by the principal, and the students who protested against this discrimination were also expelled. As a result, the protest broke. Subsequently, the government forced the school to take back the students. Thus, it was a partial victory for the students. Also, it was an event that laid the foundation for the Vietnamese Revolution in the coming years. Q11. Explain the idea of Satyagraha according to Gandhiji. Solution. Gandhiji's Satyagraha was an innovative method to fight against the British atrocities. The following points are the main planks of Satyagraha. Satyagraha literally means an appeal for truth. It aimed at appealing to the heart of the oppressor and making them realize their mistake by way of peaceful methods. Gandhiji believed that if one is truthful and honest to oneself and is fighting injustice, then the use of force is not necessary. Satyagraha involves peaceful persuasion of the oppressor to see the truth. The main planks of Satyagraha are truth and non-violence. By following non-violence, a Satyagrahi could win any battle without taking revenge or getting aggressive. Q12. Describe any three suppressive measures taken by the British administration to clamp down on nationalists. Solution. Widespread protests were arranged against the Rowlatt Act of 1919. Rallies were organized in various cities, workers' strike went on in railway workshops, shops were closed down and lines of communication were disrupted. Alarmed by the popular upsurge, the British tried to repress the nationalists' movement by 1. Barring local leaders from Amritsar along with Mahatma Gandhi from entering Delhi. 2. Open firing upon a peaceful procession in Amritsar, which led to widespread attacks on banks, police stations, etc. Martial law was imposed. 3. Forcing the Satyagrahis to rub their noses on the ground, flogging people and bombing the villages. Q13. Why is energy required for all activities? How can energy be generated? Explain. Solution. 1. Energy is the basis of all human activities. We need energy for different purposes like cooking, lighting and heating, running vehicles, and to run machines in industries. 2. Energy can be generated from conventional sources like coal, petroleum, natural gas and uranium. Wind, sun and water are also important non-conventional sources of energy. A combustion turbine is used to generate energy from natural gas. In nuclear power plants, the heat from the nuclear reactors is used to operate steam turbine generators. Solar panels are used to generate solar energy. Windmills generate wind energy. Q14. How do means of transport and communication play an important role in the economic development of the country? Explain. Solution. Transport includes railways, roadways, ships and airways, while communication sources include post, telephone, internet, radio and television. A fully functional transport and communication structure is vital for a country's development in the following ways. Ensures growth through efficient flow of goods, services, people and information. Offers an ideal means for transporting heavy goods in large quantities over long distances. Helps develop links between different cities, countries, etc. Development in the internet helps in spreading production and services across different countries. It also facilitates banking. Q15. Environmental degradation has been seen everywhere. Explain any three values that can help to prevent environment degradation. Solution. Our environment is precious to us. We should not exploit the beauty of it in any way. Three values that can help prevent environmental degradation are as follows. Responsible behavior. We should always switch off the lights and fans when they are not in use. Being conscious about the environment. We should be conscious in what we are doing towards the environment. For example, we should encourage carpool and use public transport to control pollution and save fuel. Sustainable thinking. We should preserve and protect the resources so that all of them are not exploited by us and some are left for the future generation. Q16. Why do we need political parties? Explain. Solution. In a democracy, political parties play certain important roles. They provide a platform for representation to various sections of the society, provide a platform for public debates and articulation of different opinions, contest elections and form government, give shape to policies and legislation on the basis of their election manifestos, are the vehicles of democracy. Q17. How a popular struggles integral to the working democracy. Explain with an example of Bolivia's struggle against privatization of water. Solution. The importance of popular struggle in a democracy can be understood from the example of Bolivia's water war. People were dissatisfied with the decision of the government of giving up its control over municipal water supply and the subsequent hike in water tax imposed by the multinational corporation. This led to spontaneous popular protests as the water cost began to make a dent in the household budget of the people. An alliance of labor, human rights and community leaders organized a 4-day strike which was called off after the government agreed to negotiate. It was due to such protests by the people that the MNC contract was cancelled and the municipal water supply was restored to old rates. Q18. How is democratic government known as responsive government? Explain with an example. Solution. A democratic government has to be responsive to the needs of its citizens. 1. Through pressure groups and public protests, the democratic government can check the popularity of its decisions and mechanism of administering justice. 2. A government which is able to respond to grievances faster is able to avoid confrontation and provide good governance. Q19. How does money solve the problem of double coincidence of wants? Explain with an example. Solution. Money solves the problem of double coincidence of wants by acting as a medium of exchange in every manner. Double coincidence of wants implies a situation where two parties agree to sell and buy each other's commodities, i.e., what one party desires to sell is exactly what the other party wishes to buy. Money does away this complex situation by acting as a medium of exchange which can be used for one and all commodities. For example, if an ice cream vendor wants a bicycle but the bicycle manufacturer wants clothes, not ice creams, then the vendor can use money to obtain the bicycle. He does need to adhere to the bicycle man's needs because money acts as the common medium of exchange. Similarly, the bicycle manufacturer can then use that money to buy clothes. Q20. How has information and communication technology stimulated the globalization process? Explain with examples. Solution. Information and communication technology has stimulated the globalization process in the following ways. In the past 50 years, technology has undergone a major transformation. For example, we can speak to our friends and relatives easily and conveniently with the help of the internet. Restrictions on foreign brands have been removed so that these brands can venture into the Indian markets. Online shopping has become a trend. It is a one-stop shop for all the products that we require. Q21. How has a 3-tier quasi-judicial machinery been set up for redressal of consumer disputes? Explain. Solution. A major step was taken in 1986 by the Indian government when it enacted the Consumer Protection Act 1986, popularly known as COPRA. Under COPRA, a 3-tier quasi-judicial machinery at the district, state and national levels has been set up for redressal of consumer disputes. The consumer movement in India has led to the formation of various organizations locally known as consumer forums or consumer protection councils. They guide consumers on how to file cases in the consumer court. On many occasions, they also represent individual consumers in the consumer courts. These voluntary organizations also receive financial support from the government for creating awareness among the people. Thus, the Act has enabled us as consumers to have the right to represent in the consumer courts. Q22. Explain any 5 social and administrative reforms introduced by Napoleon in the regions under his control. OR. The measures taken by the French to control the spread of bubonic plague in Hanoi created a serious problem. Explain the statement. Solution. Napoleon, after coming to power, introduced the following reforms that were considered efficient and rational. 1. The Civil Code of 1804, also known as the Napoleonic Code, established all privileges based on birth, created equality before law and also secured the right to property. This code spread to all countries including Switzerland, Italy and Germany. 2. Napoleon simplified administrative divisions and abolished feudal system. 3. He freed the peasants from serfdom and manorial dues. 4. Guild restrictions were removed from the towns. 5. Transport and communication networks improved. Peasants, artisans, workers and businessmen enjoyed the freedom that were gained due to the Napoleon uniform laws, standardized measures and weights, common national currency system that facilitated the movement and exchange of goods from one region to another. OR. The French decided to rebuild Hanoi with an endeavor to create a modern Vietnam. In 1903, the modern part of Hanoi was struck by bubonic plague. The measures taken by the French to control the spread of this plague further created the following problems. 1. To deal with the menace of rat, a rat hunt was started in 1902. The French hired Vietnam workers and paid them for each rat they caught. 2. For the Vietnamese, the rat hunt provided them an opportunity of collective bargaining. 3. Those who did the dirty work of entering sewers began negotiating a higher bounty from the French. 4. They also discovered innovative ways to profit from the situation. The bounty was paid when a tail was given as proof that a rat has been killed. So, the rat catchers took to just clipping the tails and releasing the rats so that the process could be repeated over and again. 5. Rats were also raised to earn a bounty. Due to these factors, the plague worsened. Q23. How could non-cooperation become a movement? Explain with examples. Solution. According to Gandhi, British had established their rule and power in India with the cooperation of Indians without which it would have collapsed. Thus, non-cooperation was selected as a means to defy the British rule. The following steps helped to escalate non-cooperation to a mass movement. 1. Non-cooperation movement was launched by Gandhiji in 1920 and it was unfolded in stages. It began with the surrender of titles awarded by the government, a boycott of civil services, army, police, courts, schools, etc. 2. Various social groups participated in this movement, and at a gradual phase, this movement transformed into mass struggle. The non-cooperation movement started with the middle class participation in the cities. 3. Thousands of students left government-controlled schools and colleges, headmasters and teachers resigned, and lawyers gave up their legal practices. 4. Foreign goods were boycotted, liquor shops picketed, and foreign clothes burnt in huge bonfires. In many places, merchants and traders refused to trade in foreign goods or finance foreign trade. 5. As the boycott movement spread, people began to discard imported clothes and started wearing only Indian ones, thus leading to a swift increase in the production of Indian textile mills and handlooms. Q24. Why is conservation of minerals essential? Explain any 4 measures to conserve minerals. Solution. The mineral deposit in the Earth's crust constitutes only 1%. Minerals are being consumed faster than it can be replenished, as they take millions of years to form. Moreover, agriculture and other industries are heavily dependent on minerals. It is therefore important to conserve them. This can be done by 1. Improving the technology to allow use of low-grade ores at low costs. 2. Recycling of metals. 3. Using scrap metals and other substitutes. 4. Using the available minerals in a planned manner. Q25. Agriculture and industry are complementary to each other. Explain with 5 examples. Solution. The following are the 5 significant ways in which agricultural and industrial sector complements each other. 1. Raw material. Agriculture provides basic raw material to the industrial sector, e.g., cotton to a cloth industry and sugarcane to a sugar industry. Industrial sector, in turn, provides the basic inputs to the agricultural sector. Industrial goods such as tractor, harvesting machines, fertilizers are a few basic inputs that are used by the agricultural sector. 2. Market. Agricultural sector provides market to the industrial sector. This implies that the people engaged in agriculture consume the products produced by the industries. These products, to name a few, include soaps, fridges, televisions, and so on. 3. Labor. Agricultural sector provides labor to the industrial sector. In other words, the industrial sector provides employment to the excess labor disguised unemployeds engaged in the agricultural sector. 4. Wage goods. The most important support that agriculture provides to the industries is the wage goods, or simply food grains. In simple words, agricultural sector feeds the industrial laborers, which keeps them healthy, and thereby makes them more productive. 5. Mutual dependence. Both the agricultural and industrial sector are mutually dependent on each other. In case of good harvest, the farmers have high incomes, which they use to demand more industrial goods. For example, during good harvests, many farmers buy new televisions, mobiles, clothes, etc. Similarly, when the people engaged in the industrial sector experience good income, they demand higher quantities of food grains, eat more fish, meat, and drink milk. Q26. How has the struggle of the Nepali people become a source of inspiration to Democrats all over the world? Explain. Solution. Nepal's second struggle for democracy has been a source of inspiration to all Democrats all over the world. The events and the result of the movement are responsible for such an assertion. The following points will explain the movement. Nepal won democracy in the year 1990, though the king remained the head of the state. The real power was exercised by popularly elected representatives. King Birendra accepted this transition from absolute monarchy to constitutional monarchy. King Birendra was killed in a mysterious massacre of the royal family in 2001. King Gyanendra, the new king of Nepal, was not prepared to accept democratic rule. As a result, in February 2005, the king dismissed the then prime minister and dissolved the popularly elected parliament. The movement of 2006 was aimed at regaining popular control over the government from the king. All the major political parties in parliament, 7-party alliance of Nepal, called for a 4-day strike, and this protest soon turned into indefinite strike in which many other organizations joined hands. People defied curfews and took to the streets. Even the security forces could not subdue them, as more than 1 lakh people gathered almost every day to demand the restoration of democracy. They stuck to their demands of restoring the parliament, power to an all-party government, and a new constituent assembly. On the last day of this protest movement, the king was forced to meet all the demands of the people. As a result, Spachos Girija Prasad Koirala is the prime minister, and the restored parliament passed various laws taking away most of the powers from the king. Thus, democracy was restored in Nepal. Q27. Why cannot modern democracies exist without political parties? Explain. Solution. Modern democracies are societies that provides a mode of consistent representation of interests in it. The mechanism of political parties and party systems facilitate this. The following points will help us to understand why modern democracies cannot exist without political parties. Political parties come up with promises for policy change. In case there is no such change, democracy will lose its dynamism and will not be able to mold according to existing times. They ensures that a leader remains accountable to be the people. This function is exercised both by the parties in power and the opposition. The leaders of the majority party remain in constant touch with the people and have the fear of putting at stake the reputation of the political party if any wrong step is taken. Also, the opposition who criticizes the wrong decisions of the ruling party can facilitate their downfall. The proper functioning of a representative democracy is only possible through a proper party system. Q28. Explain the role of multinational corporations in the globalization process. Solution. The role of MNCs in the process of globalization can be understood through the following 5 examples. 1. MNCs have led to the availability of products from all over the world in any country. For example, in India, corporations like Ford and Hyundai have led to a greater availability of cars from other countries. 2. MNCs from developing countries are also increasing their presence in developed countries. For example, Tata Tea purchased Tetley, a tea brand in Britain a few years ago. 3. They have led to a greater movement of labor across the world. For example, Indian software engineers working in TCS go to the US for work. 4. MNCs have increased the inflow of foreign capital across different countries. For example, when a corporation like General Electric invests in India, it brings in capital from abroad. 5. They have led to more transfer of technology across the countries. For example, Samsung brings in more advanced technology for manufacturing electronics into countries like India. Q29. How does exploitation of consumers take place in the market? Explain with any 5 facts. Solution. A consumer is said to be exploited when she is cheated by the producer or trader into buying lower quality or adulterated goods for more money. A consumer can be exploited in the following ways. 1. Shopkeepers weigh certain products lesser than they should. They may weigh only 7 kilograms and charge money for 10 kilograms. 2. Sometimes traders add hidden charges. 3. The shopkeeper may sell defective and/or adulterated goods. 4. False information is given to attract consumers. For example, a company claimed that its powder milk was scientifically proven to be beneficial for babies and sold it in the market for years. However, it was later discovered that those were false claims and that the powder milk had never been certified by experts. 5. Traders and producers might sometimes hoard goods and create an artificial scarcity in the market and then sell those hoarded goods at higher prices. Q30. 30.1. 2 features A and B are marked in the political outline map of India. Identify these features with the help of the following information and write their correct names on the lines marked in the map. A. The place where the Indian National Congress session was held in September 1920. B. The place where the cotton mill workers' satyagraha was organized in 1918. 30.2. On the same political outline map of India, locate and label the following with appropriate symbols. I. Bhilai Iron and Steel Plant. E. Coimbatore Cotton Textile Center. E. Raja Sansi International Airport. Solution. 30.1. 8. The place where the Indian National Congress session was held in September 1920 Calcutta. 30.1b. The place where the cotton mill workers organized satyagraha in 1918 Ahmedabad.